So, which time do I have? Now. Oh, okay. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you guys about this. Like Trey said, you know, I don't expect everybody to go out and do this tomorrow. There's a lot of tenure in the room, and everybody's got their own way of doing things. There's art and mechanics to our job, right? And I've been doing this for a long time. I've been using these models and this way of running First Call for 10 years, right? Way before we had DPO. Still use the same, very similar talk track to what I'm about to show you today. And know that what we're going to be doing is building collateral and tools and training and so forth to be able to systemize and replicate some of the things that we know are working, and working very, very well. Back to the question of how do you sell DPO to HR, I typically don't, right? There's involvement, there's coaches if you find that they're going to win, but when you're talking about $300,000, $400,000 for y'all, $400,000, you've got to be at C-level. Because there's very few C-levels that are going to let $300,000 or $400,000 come across their desk that they haven't been engaged or feel tied to. They're going to sign that deal. So, so over the last 10 years, I've used the exact same First Call in every single situation. I've used it with 250 accounts, right? I've done it to private equity groups. I've done it to First Calls at all kinds of different companies, all kinds of different industries, what have you. And I've never had it backfire on. Okay? So that's what I'm going to talk to you a little bit about today, and kind of show you a foundation for where to go. I think when we put a lot of these videos and things out there, it's like what I was telling some people, it's like chapters of a book. It's like you're ripping out 15 chapters of a book and sticking it out there, but they're not in order, they're not, you're kind of just looking at that different chapter and like, oh, that makes sense, but how does it, there's a linear order in which we do these things. So the first thing that I'll tell you is what I'm going to talk to you about today and show you is geared towards the C-level. It's geared towards mainly CFO or CEO. Okay? It's probably going to be over the head of the HR department. But what I'm going to talk to you about is, there's really two reasons why people buy things, right? There's a rational reason for it. So logistically, why it works, financially, can you justify it, what have you, and then there's an emotional reason why they're buying. And if we're not connecting emotionally with the executives on what they really care about, then the rational stuff sometimes is hard to justify. If we are connecting emotionally with what the executives are thinking about and caring about, the rational stuff becomes easy. It's amazing what they will rationalize from an ROI perspective or from a spend perspective if we can reach them emotionally, right? So I talk about this a lot of times with the new hire classes. I go around and I say, if I was to go to Matt Chernisek or Gartenberg or what have you, and I'm meets with two sales consultants, and sales consultant A comes in, and I'm like, hey Jeff, if I switch you from the BlackBerry to the iPhone, we can do this. If I can take this route to work instead of that route to work, I can cut off 8 miles a day, which equates to this much gallons of gas, whatever. I move you from e-order to ESO. I move you from this proposal tool to that proposal tool. I move you from this method to that method. I do this, 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 I do this. Amex to MasterCard, whatever, right? I do all this stuff, and I'm going to save you 15 grand a year. And look how neat all these toys are. What's Jeff doing? He's looking at his iPhone. He's going through, he's looking down at his emails coming in. His phone's ringing. All he's thinking about is all the business he's got to go out and get. He's so busy with all the business he has. I've just shown him how I can create all this work for him, right? For him to go do, to take his mind off the business, to disrupt what he's doing selling, to create all this work, so he can save 15 grand a year, and the deal that he doesn't get to probably pays him 30. So what's he going to do? Yeah, I get it. I know that if I go from the MasterCard to the Amex, it'll be less money. I know that if I switch from this phone to that phone, I know if I drive to work this way, Yeah, I get that, but you know what? I'm not willing to deal with it and go through all the disruption of the change and whatever. But sales consultant B comes in, and instead of that, he gets on the same side of the table and says, Jeff, you got a lot of deals out there. Yeah, I do. How are you going to get to all this? I'm not really sure. What's in your way? I got to do this, I got to do this, this is what's going on, whatever. What if I take all of this out of your way? Go get your business, buddy. By the way, I'm going to save you 15 grand. Right? It's totally different. You guys go to bed at night and start thinking about your world. You're not thinking about how bad e-order is. You're thinking about all the deals that you're trying to get and how to get them. That's the emotion. Same with an executive. All right. So, how do we do that? How do we connect with them? How do we make this happen? So, here's the basic premise. The basic premise is companies care about two things. I don't care what they are. They care about how much money they get in the door, and then how do they squeeze it so as much of it hits the bottom line and profitable as possible. So, how do they make money? Right? When you're going in and talking to an executive, a CFO, what are they expecting you to do? You show up, you're an ADP rep, what are they expecting? Payroll, sell them something, whatever. Right? They're ready for it. They're almost like, waiting for you to say payroll. They're like waiting for it, right? So they can knock you down to their HR department or whatever. So what I'm going to talk to you about is how do you disrupt them? Disrupt their thinking? How do you grab them? And how do you tie into the emotion? Okay? So I've got a couple steps that I go through when I do this, and I follow them every single time. We're going to follow up with the steps. We're going to make sure that you guys have them and that you can practice them and what have you. I've got DMs that are starting to do this all over the country, and it's starting to show massive, massive results. I think I did this for the BPO Summit. Is anybody there? Okay. Tony Karamidas got up 15 minutes after I did it right there. He closed, I don't know, 2 or 3 $100,000 deals between April and July using this exact approach, and hit $500,000 or $600,000 as a core market rep, right? And it worked. And he called me like, I can't believe it worked. I'm like, yeah, it worked. It worked. So, all right. So here's the thing. So the first step of the first call is pretty simple. When you guys talk about getting pushed down or what have you, I would say when you call an executive, you got to get in with the CFO about something that they can't delegate you away from. Right? If you talk about HR, they're going to send you to HR. If you talk about payroll, they're going to send you to payroll. So you got to talk about the business side of it when you're getting in, if you can, right? How they're growing, what they're going, whatever. Let's say you go and get in the meeting. So you guys are the client, the prospect, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do in my meeting is I'm going to start asking you about your business. I want to know how you make money, right? So I'm going to say, tell me about your business. You guys maybe start telling, I always use lemonade stand. We're a lemonade stand, we make lemonade, we're the greatest lemonade stand, we sell lots of whatever. I'm like, okay, great. How's business? Good. You let them talk, They're being patient with me, right? Then I want to say something like, how are you going to grow this? How are you growing this business? And they're excited about that. This is what they think about all day, every day. They don't think about their payroll. They think about how they're going to get... Nobody wants to be a 50-employee company. Everybody wants to be Google. Right? And I want to understand how they're going to grow their business. How are you going to grow this business? What do you mean? Well, I don't know. There's only a finite number of ways of doing it. Are you opening new locations, products, services? What are you doing? And they start telling me about it. Well, we're going to go into this market or that market. We're looking at making a couple acquisitions. What are some other different ways that they can grow? Think of some ways that they can grow their business. You're a lemonade stand right now. You're growing. You're trying to make more money. What can you do? You can buy more lemonade stands. You can open more locations. I heard that. What else? Hire more people to sell your lemonade. What else?
Sell other stuff besides lemonade.
Sell orange juice, sell cookies and pound cake. What else can you do?
Find other distribution models.
Find other distribution. Sell your lemonade to Starbucks. Starbucks resells your lemonade. Whatever. There's all these different things that you can do, but you only have so much time and energy. You got to figure this out, right? So what I want to do is build a framework around what they're doing. So I will talk to them as long as they will talk to me about what they're doing on the top line to grow their business. Right? And I might even pepper in some questions. Oh, we're not growing, we're shrinking. What are you doing to save money? Where are you looking to find costs? Where are you finding efficiency in your business? What programs do you have right now to fatten up your profit? What are you doing? What have you found as an opportunity for you to do that? Right? So I'm getting them to do this, and we're talking, and we're going to this business conversation. They're talking about their acquisition. Who are you going to acquire? Why are you going to acquire? We're going to add cookies. Are you going to make the cookies, or are you going to buy the cookies? Are you going to buy the company that makes the cookies, or are you going to try to make them yourself? Like, I'm just kind of curious. I want to know what they're doing, right? At some point in this process, they stop, and they sit there, and they realize that they're talking to an ADP rep. And they're like, why are you asking me these questions?
Do you keep asking until they get to that point?
Yes. A lot of times I do. Because it doesn't take that long. It takes about 15 or 20 minutes. And I'm like, and they may even start, they're like, tell me about your payroll. I'm like, hey, before we do that, I want to do that, but can you tell me a little bit about your business first? I mean, I've done some research, I've read, your profile, whatever. I see this, tell me about that. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? What does this look like? Have you thought about that? Think about ADP, think about what we're doing. We're going global, we're adding locations, we're adding people, we've got, we're using partners, right? We're adding products with BPO, we're doing Vitality, all this crap that we're doing to grow revenue, right? So I'm on, and Gina, she'll talk about that shit all day long, right? She's not going to talk about, like, e-order, right? So I'm going to talk to them about all this stuff, and I want to get them to understand it. And then they stop. They're like, why are you asking me these questions, John? That's what happened. And I said, you know what? That's a great question. Let me show you. So when Tricia was talking, I don't say this stuff in the video. I'm kind of giving you guys like the Magna PI inner dialogue here. So when Tricia was talking about putting stuff in other people's languages, right? So if I'm with the CFO, I'm going to come right after it. Why are you asking me these questions? I lived my whole life watching CFOs and brokers and private equity guys look at me, and I can see the disgust and disdain on their face for what I do. I can feel it. Right? Little payroll monkey, why are you asking me? So I got a little chip on my shoulder. And I'm like, I'm going to F with this guy. Let's have some fun with it.
Do you actually bring like a whiteboard? Do you actually go to the whiteboard?
Actually, when I set the appointment, I ask for a conference room. I ask for a room with a whiteboard.
Got it.
If I don't have it, I can use a flip chart. If I don't have it, I can use a piece of paper. But I ask for a conference room. I ask for a whiteboard. The other thing I ask is that I have an executive level conversation, and I keep everybody else out of the room. And they're like, why do you want to do that? Some of the things I may talk to you about may not be palatable to middle management. And I want to make sure that when we go through these concepts, that you have an idea of everything that's going to be offered without freaking out the Indians. Right? So let's talk about it. Let's have a big boy conversation. And then if you think it makes sense, we'll do it. If not, who cares? We'll kill it. But let's not freak everybody out. So why are you asking me these questions, John? All right. So watch. You think about challenger sale. First challenge. Gauntlet down. Ready? That's when I come in and I say, you know what? I just do this. That's a P&L, okay? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 acronyms. Y'all can everybody memorize 7 acronyms?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not an accounting major. I have no idea how to do a balance sheet. I can hardly read a P&L, right? But I know that that's how the CFO sees the world. Right? This is everything they do, everything they say, everything they talk about, they categorize right here.